Want to dance, Mike?
Sure.
Okay. Let's take care of business first. We'll dance at the break.
It's one of those mornings. Welcome back in. Welcome back in, everybody. Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy. We have Beth Brown on the phone. She's our first interview of the show, and just going to read a quick bio on Beth and all of her accomplishments. Beth founded Team Arias after a successful 15 years of leading the national program development and adult education at the First Tee. It was there where she established a track record of turning groups into high-performance teams. Overall, she has led more than 60 teams ranging in size from 4 to 37 in the creation of programs that have impacted thousands of youth and adults. Beth's background in organizational structure and management and collegiate sports has made her an expert in performance psychology, team building, and building successful programs for youth and adults. She has the unique, multidimensional perspective of having been a player, coach, consultant, researcher, and educator in the world of Division I athletics. Beth's passion for teaching people how to achieve their highest level of performance is fortified with extensive education and experience. Beth is a certified mental performance consultant through the Association for Applied Sports Psychology certification and an LPGA T and CP Class A member. She holds a PhD in education, which is sports psychology from the University of Kansas, and a Master of Arts in Sports Sciences from the University of Pacific.
Wow, is that all, Beth?
And I need to go sign up for more classes and get myself more educated.
I just feel really, really awful.
I do too.
I have not been successful in my life.
No, I feel a little short-sighted at the moment.
I'm an underachiever.
Yeah,
hey,
me
Doc,
too.
welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, great, Billy, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Hey,
thanks for coming on.
Wow, what an incredible bio and resume. Doc, you're an amazing human being. But before we talk about Team Arias and jump in and all the exciting things you're doing now and have done, can you share a little bit about you, like your education? Well, Mike just went through your education, but where you're from, any hobbies or any pets, anything you want to share so we can get a little personal knowledge about you? Is that possible?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Well, geez, I think Mike made some of that stuff up. But anyway, I grew up in eastern Oklahoma, and kind of a fun thing, because it relates to golf, and this is a Golf Talk radio show, right?
Yes.
Is that when I was 12, that's kind of when I got into golf, and my dad actually owned a Dairy Queen. I was 12 years old, working at the Dairy Queen, so he'd drop me off at the little 9-hole course with sand greens in the morning. I'd play 9 holes, a little red vinyl bag, and 5 clubs. Then I'd go work at the Dairy Queen from 11:30 to 3:30. That good Oklahoma work ethic. And then I'd go back and play 9 more holes. And so that was how I got to playing golf. People used to stop off of Interstate 40. That's where the Dairy Queen was, and they would be driving through on their vacations, and they would bet on how old I was, because I could barely see over the counter, but I could sure make change, and I could make dip cones and dilly bars and all that good stuff. So that's how I got to playing golf.
That's incredible. I would have don't think I'd ever left the Dairy Queen. So
I wouldn't have either. That's awesome.
I can make you some blizzards and dip cones and stuff for sure. Still.
Well, it's my understanding you currently do a lot of bike riding as well. Is that true?
That is very true. Yeah, you know me well, Billy. I love to ride my bike. It's kind of like golf. It's social. You're outside. It's beautiful. You get to be with your friends. It's got the rhythm. Like we have rhythm in our golf swing, rhythm on the bike. The extra benefit is I burn a few more calories on my bike than I do on the golf course.
And I go around in circles in my golf game, very similar to riding my bike. and I need training wheels in my golf swing. But you don't just ride your bike. You ride your bike, right? Can you give me an example of a typical ride for you? Like 20 feet, 200 yards?
Yeah, right. Well, I'm missing my ride today. I actually live in Norman, Oklahoma. Go Sooners. And my group is riding today, the Bicycle League of Norman. Hello, all y'all that are out there riding right now.
Wow.
And today they'll probably ride about 60 miles, but that's pretty typical on a Saturday. I did get to I had a big birthday a year or two ago, and I rode 200 miles. There were 6 of us. We rode from Norman, Oklahoma to just shy of Wichita, Kansas. So that was the farthest I've ever ridden in one day. That was fun.
Well, and did you just say 60? As in like 60 or 16?
No, that's a 200.
No, I know. I heard that. I'm talking about the typical Saturday. Was that a 60?
Typical 60, yes, 60.
So I got an idea,
That's
Billy.
like to your house and back.
You and I live, Billy and I, Beth, Billy and I live about 55 miles apart.
We do.
So I think once a week.
We should meet somewhere.
No, I think 1 week you ride up to my house.
Oh, dude.
And then the following week I'll ride to your house.
Yours is straight up the hill. She knows where you live. He lives in Paso, so you know you have to go up that grade. So, and if I understand this too, and the last part, you have a little puppy, a little poodle. Is that true?
Well, she's almost a poodle. She's a Maltese.
Okay.
And she's right here with me, yeah.
She's almost a poodle. Adorable. I've seen pictures.
Yeah, her name is Chianti, and actually I got her when I lived out in San Luis Obispo County. So her family had all the wine names from the wine country out there. So she's white, but her name is Chianti. I know that doesn't sound right, but it's her.
Well, yeah, and Beth has quite a connection to the Central Coast, but I'll let her share that if she wants or not. But I don't know if you listened earlier, but I personally want to thank you for your time and efforts with the First Tee organization. That it's impacted millions of lives over 20+ years, and those results are directly and indirectly due to your expertise, vision, and passion, Beth. I know what you've done, and I can't thank you enough for being one of the originators of this amazing organization that I happen to still be working for. So you must be very proud of those accomplishments with the First Tee. Is that fair to say?
Well, I'd say it was just really a blessing to be able to work with all the amazing people. Dr. Linda Petlikoff, Dr. Al Pettipaw, Lynn Marriott, and Pia Nilsson, and many others. And then the people at the chapters. Billy is very humble. Mike, you probably know this, right?
Oh, totally.
Well, yeah. So he talks a big game, but he's actually very humble. And Billy is one of the most incredible, not only human beings, but coaches I've ever been around. I've seen him with kids. I've seen him work with our adults at the First Tee. And that was really, as you reflect on different experiences you have in life, that was really the thing at the First Tee. We always said it was about the relationships. Mm-hmm. And it's never rung more true to me than it does now as I reflect back on those relationships that I still have. And you can see people like Billy still impacting young people.
Well, Beth, I am sad that you are no longer with the First Tee, but I'm very excited for what you're doing now. You are missed. I think about you often as I'm traveling around, and because of you, I am a trainer that I'm now training like you were my original trainer, and other coaches coming in, and I think of you every training that you come into my mind, and I think about you every time. And what would Beth do? So
nice.
So thank you for that. Let's talk about Team Arias. Let's talk about what exactly is Team Arias. If I'm not mistaken, you founded it last November. It's almost a year. You're coming up on 1 year. Is that right?
Right. I'm coming up on a birthday, and Team Arias is coming up on a birthday. I'm just a little older, so that's right. Yeah.
What is it?
I've always wanted to have my own business. I don't know if I ever told you that, Billy. I actually wrote a paper. It was like in 7th grade English, those things where you say, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I wanted to have my own business. So I've always had that, I think, entrepreneur spirit in me. And so Team Arias, it's actually a consulting company, as you would guess. It's focused on people. I love people, so empowering people to maximize their performance, not just in golf, but in sports, business, and life, really in all walks of life. And the cool thing, coming up with a company name, it was important to me that it was really match my personal philosophy. And I had a little Latin in my undergrad, so Arias, it's A-U-R-E-U-S, and it's a Latin word, and it means golden. And it's really defined as having this high degree of excellence. Wow. In the First Tee, we have personal par, right, for the kids, you versus your own best self. And so that's really what Team Arias is about, is helping others achieve excellence, but it's not, them versus somebody else. It's finding your own gold standard of performance, your own level of excellence. And so that's what Team Arias is all about.
Well, I like that you just mentioned, and obviously we're a golf show, but we rarely talk about golf on this show. We talk about other things as well. But you mentioned sports, of course, but it's business and in life. So this consulting company, you're not just falling into golf again. You're doing it all across anybody, right? Anybody that's running a team. Is that fair to say? That has a
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So very cool. I mean, I know how great you are, and this is only almost a year old, but can you share some of the projects you're working on now and examples of the kind of companies you're working with or organizations?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in terms of some of the companies I've worked with, most recently the LPGA Foundation was one, but I'm getting more into looking at things related to other nonprofits. I'm getting ready to do some consulting with the Oklahoma Center for Nonprofits. But some of the programs that I'm most excited about, 3 in particular, one is called the 5 Voices certification. So, Billy and Mike, you should like that one because you're using your voice on radio. But the 5 Voices certification, I'm wrapping that training up. So I'll be certified in the next couple of weeks to deliver. It's really a series of workshops, and it helps leaders and teams do 2 really powerful things. One is to discover their leadership voice. We all have one, as you would guess, and we all have different combinations of leadership voices and styles. And the second thing is the program is really around communicating more effectively. So the 5 Voices, it was actually developed, the originators of it developed it to simplify different personality assessments that can get complicated. And it's actually based on, some people out there would know, they've heard of the Myers-Briggs. So the 5 Voices is something I'm super excited about. That'll be for sports teams. Actually, I got turned on to it. My old coach at University of Oklahoma, my golf coach, she's a senior athletic director at the University of Oklahoma now, and they're using it for their senior leadership top down. So this 5 Voices program. So she's the one that introduced me to it. So I'm excited that I'll have that to share with teams and businesses. The second one is called the 8 Golden Skills for Leadership. It's under development. I've been working with a colleague on that for several months now. And the full title is Ready to Rise, 8 Golden Skills for Leadership. And it's going to come out, still working on the details, but as a guidebook. Think of it as an educational package, a guidebook with some video clips. And it's really right now focused on women, but it will hopefully be expanded to include everyone. But right now this is specifically designed to take women on this journey, if you will, to help them emerge as powerful, dynamic leaders. And so the golden skills, there's 8 of them. I won't say them all, but you can guess, Billy, some of the things we did at the first tee, but self-awareness, confidence, resilience, and vision are a few of those golden skills. And it's really focused on women coming out of college, just starting their careers, but also for leaders who are actually working with young women in the workforce so they could actually take women through this program themselves. And so that's going to launch. We don't have an exact date, but by the end of the year on the website, as you know, teamarius.com. So those are a couple of things I'm working on, doing a keynotes, working on some things around high-performing cultures and high-performing teams. I got to do a fun keynote this summer with 200 STEM teachers at the Cherokee Nation Summer Institute. There was a bunch of teachers, and that was a great opportunity. We focused on creating culture for kids. So those are just a few of the things I'm doing. I could go on and on, so I'll stop there.
Again, joining us on Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy is Beth Brown. She's an LPGA TNCP Class A member and also a CMPC, which is a certified mental performance consultant. Hey, Beth, if we shifted gears just for a second, you mentioned earlier about personal par and, Billy and I being instructors and yourself and being a coach. We find a lot of people seem to kind of get caught up in, when they're playing the game of golf, they're caught up in the other people they're playing with as opposed to playing the game. Do you have any, information you could share with our listeners on maybe a simple way that they could improve their game, not just by a lesson?
I get a golf tip from the doc.
Yeah, but like understanding, like how can you change, how can you change your golf game without maybe hitting the golf range? There's a lot of things you can do. And do you have any suggestions for the listeners?
Yeah, kind of playing off the personal par. Billy's heard this one. You could call it a playing focus or a process goal, just something under your control where it's not all about score. So, Billy, you play with me, you see we have our score, right? But then underneath it, it's a process or a playing focus. For me, when I play my best, you have to say, okay, what do I do when I tend to hit my best shots or play my best? I know for me, because I don't get to practice, if I start thinking about my swing, then it's not gonna go well, right? That paralysis by analysis.
Right,
so for me, it's all about this connection or target focus. So if I just really stay focused to the target from starting behind the ball, finding my target. I know my targets are when I have a big, like a field goal, not a small target, but a wide target. And then just keeping that target connection throughout. And if I do that.
Whoops, are you still there?
Did we lose her?
We might have. I think she's back. We might have lost her. She's going to bill us for that.
Do you think so?
Yeah, we're going to get
invoiced.
The
phone's broken?
No, not for the phone, for the device she just gave us.
I'll drop it because she'll probably call
she'll call us right back, and we'll continue on this. We've been talking to Dr. Beth Brown, founder of Team Arius. She'll call us back. She's probably on that bicycle.
That was like a tease, right?
That was a tease. That's like brilliant. She cut you off right.
I know, man. I'm like taking notes.
We're going to get invoiced for that.
Are we really?
She's $400 an hour, this girl, man, at least.
There she's coming.
All right. I know we're going to get invoiced.
All right, Beth. So we're just discussing, Beth. Did you do that on purpose?
You did. You left us right at the tip of that advice, and she cut us off. Are you there, Beth? Hello, Beth.
Beth? Nope.
What happened?
I don't know.
Let's try one
You
more.
guys hear me?
Yeah, we can now.
There we go.
So we
Okay,
are you?
I don't know what happened. I took a practice swing and I hit.
That's awesome.
I was going through it as I was talking.
Of course.
Great.
That's great. Nice release.
Hey, well, the end of that was for other people. It may not be about focusing on the target. It could be something else. But if it's holding my finish, having good balance, so into my swing, I know that's what I do when I hit my best shot. And then keep track of that on each hole. It could be like a 1 to 10, a 1 to 5. It could be stars. And so that gives you a playing focus, something that's not just your score. I know it helps me. I've seen it help kids, seniors, women, all across the board. I don't know if you all, Billy, you've been around me a lot. Have you done some of that yourself?
Oh, of course.
Seen
Yeah.
some of your students do that?
I do it every day in almost everything I do. so yeah. So, and I was just telling Mike when you dropped off that you're going to bill us for this advice, aren't you? Are you like $500 an hour these days, Doc? So we're going to get
Close.
Okay.
Close. But for you, it's $500 an hour.
I
Billy.
appreciate
It might
that.
be a little less. We'll talk offline.
So thank you for
Wow.
that advice, and of course I do it. And Mike knows about the personal part, but we wanted to hear it from the one who wrote it, and she is the author of a lot of this life skills experience book. So,
cool.
Beth, ever since I've known you 15 years plus, you've been a leader and ambassador for women's and girls golf. You still are. I know that. You're a rock star in that area. What are you still doing? Are you currently involved? You mentioned it. I think you just mentioned it, the 5 voices for certification and the 8 golden skills kind of focuses with women. Well, that's what I meant, the 8 golden skills. Are you still working with junior golf, ladies, girls golf, women's golf? What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm still doing some things with that. Absolutely. A couple of things. One, I had the good fortune to stay on the, used to be called the Golf 2020 Women's Task Force. It's now called the We Are Golf Women's Task Force. And I get to be on that with other leaders from across the country, other organizations, really to grow participation of women in the game. So that's a wonderful group I get to be a part of. But more directly, recently I've helped restart the LPGA USGA girls golf program at the First Tee of Oklahoma City.
Yay.
And so we're
Nice.
having some fun there, meeting with those young ladies, and a bunch of college girls helping out. Shout out to Hayden and Kirsten, who are my 2 lead coaches. So that's really fun. And then another last collaboration on some women-related things that kind of close to home where y'all are is that I've been collaborating with, you may know Coach Nancy McDaniel. She's the women's coach at Cal Berkeley, women's golf coach. And then April Kenyon, who's an executive and leadership coach. And the 3 of us, we've just created in the last 6 or 8 months what we're calling Superpower Golf. And it's designed to transform the trajectory of women's lives on and off the course. And we had our first program this summer, and we're looking to develop some more. So got a lot of things going on, definitely passionate about empowering girls and women.
It sounds
Through the
like
game of golf.
it sounds like you slowed down quite a bit, Beth.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right, Billy.
Well, she is, as I said before, she's one of the smartest, most organized, and professional people I've ever met. You are truly brilliant. I so much appreciate your work ethic and respect it, your talents. I am confident that Team Arias will continue to be a huge success for many years. We can't thank you enough for taking the time to come on our show. Just thank you, Beth. Thanks for everything you've done and are doing for the world, making people better, making them good
it's
leaders.
awesome.
And
really inspiring.
we appreciate your time. Is there anything you'd like to add to the conversation before we let you go?
Just thank you all, and just encourage. I love helping people, so if anybody wants to find me, they can, of course, go to teamarias.com, or they can check me out on social media at Team Arias, and that's AUREUS. So I look forward to hearing from you. And thanks, Billy. We need to get out on the golf course on my next trip to California, that's for sure.
I look forward to it, and that is golden. And we'll put that information up on our podcast, right, where they can reach you.
Definitely.
Thank you, Doc. Have a great holiday
all right.
weekend.
Have a great day, gentlemen.
Thank you, Beth. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Dr. Beth Brown, amazing, just an amazing person, and it was good to hear her voice again. Been a while.
Yeah, very cool.
I mentioned to her, and if she's still listening too, she's one of the few people that's ever intimidated me. I'm not intimidated. I don't get intimidated much. But because of her brilliance,
I've never
and
intimidated you the whole time we've known each other.
Not many. Not many have that do.
Not that I've really ever tried.
And I adore her, and it's not in a bad way. It's just to try to live up to the professionalism of her. I mean, she is to the point. I mean, and right to this, when you're doing or you're trying to do your oral, your presentations, you're up there doing a, oral presentation or running some slides in a PowerPoint, right? And you got to be right to the second. And you got to get in everything and cover.
She's like, stop being so wordy.
So, Bill, you're 7 seconds late, and you're talking too much. Well, thank you, Beth. A little fast there, Bill. So, can you slow down?
Speaking of that, we'll take our break right now.
I was just warming up.
I know, because we're going to have a couple minutes before the top of the hour.
Doc.
So, Golf Talk Radio brought to you by TaylorMade Golf. Check out the latest M5, M6 drivers, fairway woods, hybrids, and irons at TaylorMadeGolf.com today. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy.